the postseason, where we're going to talk about who is going to move on to the World Series and who will win the World Series this year. Lucas, let's start with the AL. Give me your first round. Give me your wild card game.
Yeah, so like I alluded to, I have Chicago and Houston in that wild card game. I do have Houston as the number 2 wild card this season, but I have them coming out ahead of Chicago. I just don't think the White Sox have a real ace that can lock down that game. And to be honest with you, I don't know if Houston does either, but ultimately they've got the offense, I think, to power through, even though Chicago might be better over the course of a full 162.
Okay, I have two different teams in my wild card game. I'm happy first to say that we are back to the traditional playoffs. I did not like the
Me too.
expanded playoffs. I'm glad we're back. In my wild card game, you're going to find this interesting, is the Angels and the Blue Jays. And a lot of people don't have that or are not even thinking about those two teams being playoff teams this year. But I really like Mike Trout and the Angels, and I really like the Blue Jays. They have a lot of young pieces, and if it all works out for them, they're going to be a really good team, which is why I have the Blue Jays moving on to the divisional series and beating the Angels in the wild card game this season. Now let's move on to the first round in the AL. Give me your top matchup with the 1 seed and the wild card winner, and then your other matchup.
Yeah, first of all, I'd just like to add in that you still think Mike Trout's completely winless record in the postseason will continue, which as a Mariners fan makes me quite happy. For the first round in the American League, so I've got the 1 seed New York Yankees taking on the Houston Astros. I do think the Yankees will prevail. Probably 4 games. I think Houston will sneak a win in there at some point. But ultimately, the Yankees with the pitching staff, with the bats are going to just take it to the Astros. And then the 2-3 game, I have Oakland at Minnesota. I have Minnesota winning that series. Probably 4 or 5 games. It could certainly go the distance. I think the Oakland A's are probably an underrated team this year, as they seem to be year in and year out. But I do ultimately have the Twins coming out victorious.
Okay, so I obviously have the Yankees as my 1 seed. They'll be facing off against my Blue Jays, who I chose to win the wild card game, and it's the Yankees. They're probably the best team in the AL, but I love the Blue Jays. I love their talent, and I have them beating the New York Yankees in the divisional round. I really think they can do it. I'm not just saying this. I do think that the Blue Jays, if they play their best baseball, have the weapons to beat the New York Yankees, and I have the Blue Jays moving on to that championship series in the AL. In my other side, I have the Twins playing the Astros. I have the Twins ranked higher than the Astros. And yes, I have the Twins beating the Astros like you do. I have the Twins moving on to the ALCS because I just think they're the better ball club. And I just think they're going to be victorious over Houston Astros, who I do not like as a baseball team. I also do not like the Yankees, but that is not why I chose the Blue Jays. That is partly why I chose the Twins. The Twins are a good team, and I have them playing the Blue Jays in the ALCS. Lucas, who do you have moving on to the World Series?
Yeah, so I've got the New York Yankees taking on the Minnesota Twins. I have the Minnesota Twins coming out over the New York Yankees. I would say this is probably more of a gut feeling and maybe a little bit influenced by my fandom. But I think Minnesota is a really good ball club.
They are.
And I don't anticipate them, sweeping them aside or anything. But if this game if they can get this series to go 6 or 7 games, I think they give themselves a chance, because anything can happen in a Game 7 situation. And ultimately, I do have Minnesota coming out and winning the pennant from the American League.
Okay, so I have the Toronto Blue Jays playing the Twins in the ALCS, and I do not have the Twins going to the World Series. I'm sticking with my Blue Jays. They do have the talent. Nobody's listening. People don't even think they're going to make the playoffs, but I do think the Blue Jays can go to the World Series this year. They have a lot of young players, as I have said, who are very good, and this is the year those stars that a lot of people don't know of that aren't really baseball fans because no one follows the Blue Jays. Those stars, you're going to know them after this year. They are good players, and the Blue Jays are a World Series caliber team. I have them going to the World Series, and I'll let you know if I have them winning after we go through our National League side. So, Lucas, in the National League wildcard game, who are your two teams that came out that did not win their division?
Yeah, so I've got the New York Mets as the second wild card, the San Diego Padres as the top wild card spot. I do have the Padres winning that game. I think they'll be able to probably throw Blake Snell out there. I think they'll be able to kind of relax with their record and make sure that Blake Snell is ready to go for that wild card game. Whereas the Mets might be battling for that second wild card spot with a team like Milwaukee all the way till the end. And so ultimately, I think San Diego is going to have the pitching better set up, and they'll win that game against the Mets.
I have the exact same thing, but I'll go through it again. I have the Mets and the Padres facing off in the wild card game, and I have the Padres winning. This is because the Mets, they're not going to win their division. I have the Braves winning that division, as I said in the National League video earlier. So I think the Mets will still be a playoff team, though. They will get enough wins to get that wild card position, and so will the Padres, who are in the Dodgers division. But the Padres are just a better team than the Mets are right now, and the Padres are going to move on to face off in the NLDS. Lukas, give me both of your NLDS matchups. Tell me who you have as the 1 seed playing against the wildcard team, and then give me your other matchup as well.
Yes, so for my 1 seed, I got the Atlanta Braves. They'll be taking on the Padres. I think the Braves will win that game. Like I said, San Diego is going to be able to set up the pitching for that wildcard game, but ultimately they're going to have to use Blake Snell to win that game. And at that point, that opening series, or I guess not opening series, against the Braves becomes a little bit more difficult. And I think the Braves can win that series. In my opinion, they'll probably win it in three straight.
Okay.
And then for my number 2 versus number 3, I've got the Dodgers and the Cardinals. I think the Dodgers might honestly be the best team in the National League. But I think they've also potentially have the toughest schedule, having to face the Padres so much. And I think the Giants will be kind of sleepy good. So I think they've got a tougher schedule, and that's why I've got them as the number 2 seed, but I do have them defeating the Cardinals. I just don't think the Cardinals have the pitching to win a 3-game set, whereas the Dodgers have, Clayton Kershaw, Trevor Bauer. They'll be able to win that one. I think it's probably 4 or 5 games, but they'll ultimately come out as the winner.
Okay, so I have the Dodgers as my 1 seed. I think the Dodgers are the best team in the National League. You do too. You don't think they'll get as many wins as the Braves, but I think they'll get more. So I have the Dodgers facing off against their division rival Padres in that first round, and I think the Dodgers will come out victorious in that series. They're just such a good team. It's annoying. They have a huge payroll, which kind of sucks for those smaller ball clubs. But yeah, the Dodgers are going to move on to the NLCS because they're the defending World Series champions, and they're going to get back to the NLCS. In my other matchup, I have the Braves and my Cubbies because I have my Cubbies win the NL Central, but the Braves are the better team, and the Braves are going to unfortunately beat my Cubs. It's going to be a sad day when this happens, but I've been hot on the Braves for a long time. They're probably my second favorite team in baseball right now, so I'm not too upset. That's the team I'd want to lose to if we're losing to a team in the playoffs. So I have Braves and Dodgers matching up in the NLCS. Who is your NLCS matchup, and who do you have going to the World Series?
Yeah, so my NLCS matchup is the Braves and the Dodgers. And on the NL side of things, I've been talking a lot about pitching, and that was kind of to set up this series right here. So I do have Atlanta being able to defeat the Padres in 3 games, whereas I think it's going to take longer for the Dodgers to take down the Cardinals, and I think that sets up a huge advantage for the Braves in this series. If the Dodgers don't have a rested Clayton Kershaw, don't have a rested Trevor Bauer, things get a lot more difficult for them to win in that 7-game series against Atlanta. And so ultimately I have, thanks to their pitching being set up better for that 7-game set, I have the Braves defeating the Angels. I think it could, the Dodgers.
The Dodgers, yep.
I think it could probably take 6 or 7 games, but I think with the pitching matchup, Atlanta will be better set up to handle it.
Although I have the Dodgers as my 1 seed and the Braves as the 2 seed, I do have the Braves coming out on top also in this NLCS. I love the Braves. I think they're going to be better than the Dodgers here. Ronald Acuna Jr., one of my favorite players to watch. He's going to be an MVP candidate this season. He is very good at baseball, and he's going to hit his way. You were talking about the pitching, but I think that the Braves are just going to have better hitting, and I agree with you that they have better pitching for a longer 7-game series than the Dodgers do, which is why I have the Braves going to the World Series to play against the Blue Jays. Lukas, give me you got Twins, you got Braves. Who do you have winning the World Series and why?
I have the Minnesota Twins winning the World Series this year. I think a Minnesota-Atlanta World Series is going to be really exciting. You've got kind of a battle of young guys with Atlanta, a couple veterans with Minnesota, guys like Josh Donaldson, Nelson Cruz,
Who
who are
used to
exciting
be on
guys.
Atlanta.
What?
Donaldson was on Atlanta for a few years. Yep.
Yes, he was. But I think it'll be a really exciting World Series, and I do have the Minnesota Twins coming out victorious, and being crowned World Series champions at the end of the 2021 MLB season. I think it'll be a really exciting series. And ultimately, I just think Minnesota is one of the most talented teams in the game. Even though I had them as 3 seed out of the American League, I think they'll be set up to succeed come playoff time with some of those veteran guys that just have the experience winning big games, whereas Atlanta is kind of young and hasn't really fully clicked in the postseason yet. So I've got Minnesota.
Okay, you said Atlanta's young. I have them facing off the Blue Jays, who are probably younger. So I got the young and the younger in the World Series. And no, I do not have the Blue Jays winning the World Series. I do have them getting there, but I got to go with the Braves. They've made it this far. They've been good for years. I think they should have won last year. They had the weapons to do it last year, but they just didn't play their best baseball. A short season, COVID. So I do think in a full season, the Braves will end up being the best team. The Braves are going to be the 2021 World Champions over the Toronto Blue Jays. Ronald Acuna Jr. deserves it all. That whole team deserves it all. They're a great team, and they've earned this. So, hey, Braves fans out there, this is your year. I'm riding with you guys. After you beat my Cubs in the playoffs, you're going to be my team the rest of the way. And Blue Jays fans, you made it this far as a very young team. Don't worry, you'll be back. But I have the Atlanta Braves as the World Series champions. Now, I'm a National League guy. Lucas is an American League guy. I chose a National League team to win the World Series. Lucas chose an American League team to win the World Series. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was our first video of baseball on this channel. Thank you again to Blake and Vish for letting us host it. And Lucas, do you have any last words you want to add?
I was this close to taking Atlanta. We almost had the same World
Okay.
Series champions. It was a tough pick, but I did go American League. Maybe it's because I'm an AL guy. Who knows?
We'll see what happens, and we will be back. Don't worry. We're going to make baseball videos hopefully once, maybe twice a week for the season because Blake and Vish, they're going to work on football and basketball. Me and Lucas will do baseball. We're here for you baseball fans out there, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.